this George Floyd narrative and this current timeline of events would be an understatement. I mean, the entire situation has gotten so weird and creepy. I mean, does the man really need 3 funerals? I get it. He was killed by the police, and it shouldn't have happened. But do we need to televise his 3rd funeral on all major networks, live coverage, on-the-ground reporting, as if it's some kind of sporting event? You would think the World Cup was playing. You would think Michael Jackson or Elvis Presley died. I mean, the way that they have turned this man into a martyr is just beyond my belief. I can't even comprehend it. First of all, he wasn't a shining beacon of morality, and yet he's being propped up like he is. I mean, let's be honest here. If he were never killed by the police, most people wouldn't like him, right? I mean, I heard of a story about him holding a gun to a pregnant woman's belly while his friends raided and looted her house. I mean, does that sound like somebody you would want to put on a t-shirt? And yet people are doing that, getting tattoos and wearing hats and all this stuff, just worshiping him. Second of all, most people, 99.99% of people agree that police brutality is wrong and that George Floyd should not have been killed by that officer. But what more do you want? They've been arrested and charged. He's dead and gone. Put the man in the ground already. They're trying to milk this for all it's worth. There's no more meat on this bone, in my opinion. So why do people need to put him on his shirt? They always swing the pendulum so far. It's just so far. Let's cancel the police. No more police. No more Legos that are police Legos. No more cop shows and movies. Like, are you serious right now? This is a massive overcorrection. Over-dramatized. Sensationalized. I'm just tired of all the events that spurred after it. All the self-loathing and washing feet of black people and apologizing for existing because of your skin color. It's weird to put a stranger on a pedestal and worship them and make them a Christ-like figure. It's weird to denounce your race and just hate yourself and wash the feet of people who look different from you just because of their skin color. That's weird and creepy. Who can deny this? It's weird. Oh, I'm so sorry for slavery. I'm sorry for being white. Stop it. It's so cringy. I want to puke as I'm making this video. It's so nasty, man. Get over it. And stop using this George Floyd situation to divide the country, because most people agree. Like I said, 99.99% of people agree on the George Floyd situation. So shouting, Black Lives Matter, in somebody's face is like shouting, the sky is blue, pizza is delicious. I'm like, okay, but who's saying that it's not? Who's saying pizza's not delicious? Who's saying black lives don't matter? Yeah, people are saying all lives matter because that's factually true. But the whole movement has been made to divide, not unify. Don't get into it. This is about dividing the country. And nobody else who's been killed by the police has ever gotten this much media attention. They don't end up on t-shirts or murals or billboards. So why George Floyd? Meanwhile, they've arrested David Dorn's killer, and surprise, surprise,
he black.
So see, this is why Black Lives Matter will never be taken seriously, because not all Black Lives Matter. Again, how can anyone dispute that? They don't care about all Black lives. If they did, they would mention David Dorn. They would mention the other people who have been killed on their website. They ignored the fact that David Dorn was killed by another black person. More black people have been killed since George Floyd's death because people have been protesting George Floyd's death. Make that make sense for me.
But Black Lives Matter, right?
No mention of David Dorn, despite the fact that he's a retired police officer, put his life on the line, and he was killed by another black person. So on that alone, nobody will ever take Black Lives Matter seriously, ever. Because they don't care about black lives in the womb. They don't care about black lives taken by other black people. They don't care about any other leading cause of death in the black community. Diabetes, hypertension, high blood pressure, heart attack. They don't care about it. It doesn't matter because it's not politically expedient for them. They can't advance their narrative. They can't advance their agenda. They can't use it to confiscate resources and wealth from white people. That's really what it's about. Clearly, they're trying to set up some kind of South Africa situation here. What do you want? What's your end game, Black Lives Matter? Expropriation of land? Apartheid? What is it? They won't tell you. They just keep saying systemic racism. They make the argument so broad that you can't really refute it. They just say systemic racism. Okay, which policy? Which person? Just general systemic racism. Okay, cool. Got it. Got it. Everything can be linked to racism. That's what they say. Everything. Well, there wouldn't be black on black crime in Chicago if there wasn't concentrated poverty. There wouldn't be concentrated poverty if there weren't white people who made all these concentrated poverty buildings, these high-rise, low-income buildings. There wouldn't be this because of that. They can always try to tie it back to systemic racism, and that's how they keep their little narrative going. If America is so oppressive, if there's so much systemic racism, how come Al Sharpton can become a multi-millionaire by telling you that there's systemic racism? That's his whole shtick. He's gotten rich off of that lie, which only further proves that it's a lie. If you can become rich off of telling the lie, then chances are it's a big fat freaking lie. So this entire timeline of events, I'm just over. I'm done with it. It's time to move on. Next story. I'm fatigued here. And by the way, if you guys can have thousands and thousands of people in the street, shoulder to shoulder, without masks on, protesting, why can't Trump hold rallies again? That's right. It's coming soon.